This is part 8 for the chapter Solutions. In part 7, we discussed about the two colligative properties, that is relative lowering of vapor pressure and elevation of boiling point. The third colligative property is depression in freezing point. For this, we should know what is freezing point. So, freezing point of a substance is the temperature at which the solid and the liquid forms of a substance are in equilibrium. That is, the solid and the liquid forms of the substance have same vapor pressure. It is generally found that freezing point of the solution is always lower than that of pure solvent. So if freezing point of the substance solution is TF and freezing point of pure solvent is T0, then it is always found that TF is less than T0. And this decrease is called as depression freezing point. We know that vapor pressure of the solution is less than that of pure solvent because we have already discussed that there is lowering of vapor pressure when a non-volatile solute is added to a volatile solvent. So vapor pressure of solution is PS is always less than P0. As freezing point is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid and solid form of a substance are same. Therefore, for the solution, this will occur at a lower temperature because lower is the temperature, lower is the vapor pressure. This depression in freezing point can be explained in terms of the plots of vapor pressure versus temperature. So let us go through the graph. The curve which runs below should be for solution as it is vapor pressure curve, and the top one is for solvent. Now this side we have to take vapor pressure and this side it is temperature. Now this is the frozen form of the solvent or solid form of the solvent. Here it is the liquid solvent. Now at this temperature, this is the vapor pressure. At this particular vapor pressure, the solid form and the liquid form coexist or are in equilibrium with each other. So this is T0. That is the freezing point of the liquid solvent. At this point, the frozen solid and the solution coexist. So this is TF. So it is seen, or it can be concluded that TF is less than T0. Now this T0 minus TF is called as depression in freezing point. So depression in freezing point is delta TF and it is equal to T0 minus TF. Now we can go for the expression for depression in freezing point. This delta TF or depression in freezing point depends on the concentration of the solution in terms of molarity. So we can write that delta TF is directly proportional to molality, or we can write it as delta TF is equal to Kf into M, where Kf is the proportionality constant. It is called as molal depression constant, or it is also called as cryoscopic constant. Now if M is equal to 1, delta TF becomes equal to Kf. Now we can define the molar depression constant. It can be defined as the depression in freezing point for a solution of, or when 1 mole of solute is dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. Now from this equation we can find that Kf is equal to delta TF by small m. Now delta TF is temperature, so it is Kelvin. M is mole inverse kg. Now the unit of Kf is Kelvin kg mole inverse, or Kelvin mole inverse kg. As depression in freezing point depends upon the molality of the solution, that is number of moles of solute dissolved in 1000 gram of solvent, and it is not depending upon the nature of the solute, hence it is a colligative property. So it is proved that delta TF is a colligative property. Next, we can substitute in place of molality. Molality is what? It is number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent, or WA. So NB we can write it as WB by MB, where WB is weight of the solute, MB is the mass of the solute. This WA is in kg, so this can be given as 1000 by WA in grams. So now if we substitute this, we get delta TF is equal to Kf into WB by MB into 1000 by WA, or MB is equal to Kf into WB into 1000 by delta TF into WA. This is in grams. Now this way of calculating the molecular mass of solute is called as cryoscopic method. This molecular mass is for the non-ionic solute. Now in terms of latent heat of fusion, Kf can be given as, this is for numerical purpose, RT naught square 1000 LF, or this is also equal to molecular mass of the solvent, RT naught square 1000 delta HF, where T naught is the freezing point of the solvent, LF is the latent heat of fusion. Fusion means conversion of liquid form to its solid form per gram of the solvent. Delta HF is latent heat of fusion per mole of the solvent. Here it is per gram of the solvent, here it is per mole of the solvent. And as usual, Ma is the molecular mass of the solvent and R is the universal gas constant. The next colligative property, or the fourth colligative property, is osmotic pressure. It is denoted by pi. Now, before going for osmotic pressure, we should know what is diffusion. Now, diffusion is the spontaneous mixing of the particles of the solute and the solvent to form a homogeneous mixture. Diffusion is the intermixing of solute and solvent particles to form a homogeneous mixture. Next, we should know what is osmosis. It is the spontaneous flow of the solvent molecules from the solvent to the solution. Again, osmosis is the flow of solvent molecules from solvent to solution, or solvent can be written as less concentrated solution and solution is more concentrated solution, and in between we should have a semi-permeable membrane. This is most important. So, the flow of solvent molecules from a less concentrated solution to a more concentrated solution through a semi-permeable membrane. When we consider a pure solvent and a solution, that time if the solvent molecules flow from a or through a semi-permeable membrane to the solution side, then it is called as osmosis. Now, osmotic pressure. Now we can go for the differences between diffusion and osmosis. Now, in case of diffusion, we don't use a semi-permeable membrane. There is no semi-permeable membrane. It is simply flow of the solvent, flow from one to other, or just intermixing. The second point of difference is, in case of diffusion, both solute and solvent molecules can move freely into one another. But in osmosis, only solvent molecules move from solvent to solution. In case of diffusion, the flow takes place from higher concentration to lower concentration. In case of osmosis, it is always from lower concentration to higher concentration. Diffusion is applicable both for solutions as well as gases, whereas osmosis is only applied for solutions. Diffusion cannot be stopped by applying pressure, or it cannot be reversed, but osmosis can be stopped by applying osmotic pressure. Now we can define osmotic pressure. How do you define osmotic pressure? Osmotic pressure is the minimum excess pressure that has to be applied on the solution side to prevent the solvent to flow into the solution through the semi-permeable membrane. For example, if grapes are put in a solution of NaCl, then the grape is shrinking. But if it is kept in water, then it swells. This is NaCl solution, so it shrinks. That means the fluid from grape to NaCl solution moves, because here it is less concentrated, here it is more concentrated. Whereas if the same grape is kept in plain water, then water flows into the grape. Here it is pure solvent and here it is solution. So we have given the example for solvent to solution through semi-permeable membrane, and this is the example for the movement of solvent molecules from less concentrated solution to more concentrated solution. The covering of grape acts as a semi-permeable membrane. Now next we should know what is reverse osmosis. Which we are using in our daily life, that is RO systems. So if a pressure higher than the osmotic pressure, if some pressure is used which is higher than the osmotic pressure is applied on the solution, the solvent flows from the solution into the pure solvent. And this process is called as reverse osmosis. Now we defined osmotic pressure as, or osmosis, from solvent side to solution side through a semi-permeable membrane. If a pressure pi is applied on the solution side, osmosis stops. Now this pressure pi is called as osmotic pressure. Now if some pressure pi 1 is applied on the solution side, then solvent molecules from solution move to solvent, leaving the solute in the solution side. And this process is called as reverse osmosis. Now this reverse osmosis is used in our RO systems, that is called as desalination of salt water or sea water or hard water, removal of salts. So when water is kept and sea water is kept on the other side and a semi-permeable membrane is kept and a pressure which is higher than the osmotic pressure is applied on the solution side, water from sea water moves towards water, leaving all the salts behind. This process is called as reverse osmosis. Next, we'll go for the theories of or the laws of osmotic pressure. The first law of osmotic pressure is Boyle-Van 't Hoff law. This is effect of concentration on osmotic pressure. It says that the osmotic pressure of dilute solutions is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution at constant temperature. So this takes place at constant temperature. Now it says that the osmotic pressure is directly proportional to the concentration, or pi by C is equal to constant. If 1 mole of solute is dissolved in V liters of the solution, then C is equal to 1 by V. Or we can also write pi is inversely proportional to volume, or pi V is equal to constant. The second law is Gay-Lussac-Van 't Hoff law. It is also called as Charles-Van 't Hoff law. It is effect of temperature on osmotic pressure. It states that concentration should be constant. Then osmotic pressure for a dilute solution is directly proportional to the absolute temperature, or pi by T is equal to constant. Now when we combine these two laws, we can put as pi is directly proportional to Ct, or pi is equal to CRT, where R is the universal gas constant and it is equal to 0.0821 liter atmosphere Kelvin inverse mole inverse, which we have learnt in our 11th standard in gaseous state chapter. Now C is equal to N by V, where N is the number of moles and V is the volume. So after substituting, we get pi is equal to N by V RT. Now we should know what are isotonic solutions. If we consider two solutions, solution 1 and solution 2, having osmotic pressures pi 1 and pi 2, such that pi 1 is equal to pi 2, then these two solutions are called as isotonic solutions. If pi 1 is not equal to pi 2, that means pi 1, suppose, is greater than pi 2, or the solution which is having higher osmotic pressure is called as hypertonic solution, and the solution which is having lesser osmotic pressure, then it is called as hypotonic solution. So here pi 1 is more means solution 1 is hypertonic and solution 2 is hypotonic. So this is for isotonic solution. Pi 1 is hypertonic, pi 2 is hypotonic. Now, as usual, we have to calculate that the molecular mass of solute using osmotic pressure, that is mb. We know that pi is equal to CRT, or this is equal to N by VRT. Number of moles means it is weight by molecular mass. So we can write WB by MB into VRT. So MB is equal to WB RT by pi V. Next, we should know the biological significance of osmosis. It is found in terms of hemolysis, plasmolysis, preservation of food by the use of salts and sugars, edema, etc.